If you close your eyes and picture hell, what do you see? I wager you see flames, a roaring sulfuric inferno. You picture winged demons, pitchforks in hand, tormenting souls in a pit of fire. For centuries, this singular vision of fire and brimstone, largely popularized by Dante's Inferno, has dominated the Western imagination. But what if this is a failure of our imagination? What if the reality, as conceived by the totality of human civilization, is far more complex, more structured, and infinitely more psychologically terrifying? What if fire is a mercy compared to the alternatives? Today, we are not visiting the hell you think you know. We are journeying beyond the inferno. We will peel back the veil of caricature and venture into the abyss as it was truly envisioned by the ancient world. We will explore the underworlds you haven't heard of, from the soul-crushing despair of meaningless, eternal labor, to the absolute, isolating cold that freezes the very soul, to the bureaucratic terror of a multi-layered torture chamber, and finally, to a fate that might be the most terrifying of all, complete and utter oblivion. This is a voyage into humanity's darkest creations. And the question we must ask is not if hell is real, but what these horrifying visions truly reveal about the civilizations that dreamed them into existence. Our journey begins not in fire, but in shadow. Welcome to the Greek underworld. When most of us think of the Greek afterlife, we think of Hades. But Hades, the realm, was not originally a place of punishment. For the vast majority of souls, the average, the unremarkable, the morally gray, the afterlife was a place of profound, crushing boredom. After crossing the river Styx, souls were guided to the asphodel meadows. Imagine an endless gray twilight, a ghostly field of gray flowers where shades, the wispy remnants of the dead, fluttered aimlessly. Here, memory, passion, and identity faded. You were not tortured. You were not judged. You simply ceased to matter. This was the hell of nothingness, the ultimate loss of self. But for those who committed unforgivable atrocities, those who dared to defy the gods, something far worse awaited. Deeper than Hades, as far below the earth as the earth is from the heavens, there lay a pit. This was Tartarus. Tartarus was not chaos. It was a place of precise, ironic, and psychological torment. It was the birthplace of contrapasso, poetic justice, where the punishment is a twisted reflection of the sin. And here, 3 inmates became legends. First, there was Tantalus, a king who, in his arrogance, tested the gods by serving them his own son for dinner. His punishment? He stands for eternity in a clear pool of water, branches heavy with ripe fruit hanging just above his head. But whenever he stoops to drink, the water recedes. Whenever he reaches to eat, the wind blows the branches just out of his grasp. Tantalus is the personification of unquenching desire, the hell of eternal, agonizing want. Then there was Ixion. He betrayed his father-in-law, committing the first kinslaying. When Zeus himself, in a show of mercy, purified him, Ixion repaid this kindness by attempting to seduce Zeus's wife, Hera. His punishment was for arrogance and betrayal. He was bound to a winged flaming wheel, which spins for all eternity. It is the hell of dizzying, fiery, relentless torment, a non-stop revolution of his own treachery. But the most famous resident, the one who truly captures the existential horror of Tartarus, is Sisyphus, a king famed for his cleverness and deceit who cheated death twice. His punishment was not one of fire or pain. It was one of futility. Sisyphus is condemned to push a massive boulder up a steep hill. He strains, he sweats, his muscles scream, and just as he reaches the summit, the boulder slips from his grasp and tumbles all the way back to the bottom, and he must begin again, forever. Albert Camus, the 20th century philosopher, famously wrote that we must imagine Sisyphus happy, finding meaning in his absurd struggle. But the Greeks intended no such comfort. This was the ultimate psychological torture for a civilization that valued legacy and accomplishment. Sisyphus's punishment is the horror of meaningless labor. It is the eternal, soul-shattering realization that your life's work, all your effort, amounts to absolutely and eternally nothing.
From the psychological hell of Greece, we travel north to a land of ice, frost, and Vikings. Here, the ultimate terror was not fire, but its opposite. Welcome to Helheim, the Norse realm of the dead. The Norse afterlife was divided. Brave warriors slain in battle earned a spot in the glorious halls of Valhalla. But all others, those who died of sickness, old age, or in any straw death, were forced to walk a very different path. It was a cold, dark, downward-sloping road named Helveg. For 9 nights, the soul would journey through deep, dark valleys until it reached the Gjöll, the screaming river, which flowed with rattling ice and freezing sleet. It was spanned by a single glittering bridge, Gjallarbrú, guarded by a giantess. Past the bridge, at the very bottom of the world, lay the gates of Helheim. It is a kingdom of mist, dampness, and cold, and it is ruled by a figure of dreadful duality, the goddess Hel. Daughter of Loki, she was cast into this abyss by Odin. Her face and body are half beautiful, living woman, and half blue, decaying corpse. She is the embodiment of the space between life and death. Her great hall was named Misery, her table, Famine, her knife, Starvation. This was a passive hell, much like Hades, a place of gloomy, cold despair. But, like the Greeks, the Norse conceived of a place within hell, reserved for the truly evil. A place so dreadful it made Helheim look like a paradise. This was Niflhel, the dark hell, and on its shore sat Nastrond, the corpse shore. Here, the Norse poets described a great hall, a building woven not from wood or stone, but from the spines of living snakes. These serpents were positioned with their heads facing inward, their fangs dripping an endless torrent of black, burning venom. This venom filled the hall like a river, and in this river waded the souls of the damned, murderers, adulterers, and, worst of all to the Norse, oath breakers. There was no complex psychology here. This was raw, elemental terror. It was the biting, relentless cold. It was the feeling of venom on skin, of decay, of being gnawed upon by the dragon Nidhugger, who feasted on the corpses of the damned. For the Vikings, a people who fought a daily battle against the killing cold of the real world, this was the ultimate nightmare, an eternity of cold, darkness, and grotesque, monstrous suffering. We have seen the hell of futility and the hell of cold. Now we travel east to an underworld that is not a chaotic pit of despair, but a complex, multi-layered, and terrifyingly efficient bureaucracy. Welcome to Naraka, the Buddhist concept of hell. The first, most crucial thing to understand about Naraka is a stark contrast to its Western counterparts. It is not eternal. In Buddhism, the goal is enlightenment, and Naraka is more akin to a horrifying, temporary purgatory. Souls are sent here not for divine judgment, but as a direct consequence of their own karma. They remain only until their negative karma is burned off. The horror of Naraka is not its eternity. It is its intensity, its duration, and its horrifying specificity. This is not one single place, but a vast and intricate system. It is commonly described as containing 8 hot hells and 8 cold hells, each with numerous sub-hells attached. The punishments are not random. They are specific corrections for specific failings. Let us descend into the hot hells. These are for sins of anger, violence, and hatred. As you descend, the suffering is compounded. In the first, you are beaten with iron staves. In the next, you are crushed by mountains. But the deepest, most terrifying of the hot hells is the last one. Avicii, the non-stop hell. Here the sinner is flayed, and their skin is used to pull a fiery chariot. They are impaled on flaming spears. They are boiled in cauldrons of molten iron. And the moment they die from the pain, a cool wind blows, and they are instantly resurrected, their bodies made whole again, only so the torture can begin immediately. There is no rest, no pause, no moment to even register the last agony before the next one begins. The non-stop nature is the horror. But perhaps even more creative are the cold hells. Reserved for sins like greed and attachment, these are vast frozen plains far from any light or warmth. In the first cold hell are Buddha, the blister hell. The cold is so intense that the skin of the damned erupts in massive, agonizing blisters. In the next, near our Buddha, the burst blister hell. Those blisters pop, leaving the soul as one giant, raw, open wound. In the Atata hell, the cold is so profound that the jaw seizes, and the only sound one can make is the clicking, chattering sound of their own name, Atata. And the duration. This is the true terror. The lifespan in these hells is measured in kalpas, units of time so vast they are almost incomprehensible. The time it would take to erode a mountain of solid rock by brushing it with a silk cloth once every 100 years. That is but a fraction of a single life in Naraka. The Buddhist hell is the ultimate vision of consequence. It is a cosmic machine, impersonal, relentless, and meticulously designed to ensure that every single karmic debt is paid. In excruciating, unimaginable detail. We have journeyed through futility, cold, and bureaucracy. We end our tour in the golden sands of ancient Egypt with a fear that may be the most profound and most modern of all. For the ancient Egyptians, the afterlife was everything. They spent their entire lives preparing for it. Their underworld, the Duat, was a complex, perilous realm of gods, demons, and gates. But their final judgment was not a battle, it was a test. After death, the soul of the deceased was guided by Anubis into the great hall of two truths. There, the soul stood before 42 gods and had to declare their innocence, the negative confession: I have not murdered, I have not stolen, I have not been deceitful. Then came the main event, the weighing of the heart. The heart, which the Egyptians believed to be the seat of intellect, emotion, and morality, was placed on one side of a golden scale. On the other side, a single, white feather, the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. If the heart was light, free from the burden of sin, it would balance with the feather. The soul was declared true of voice. They would be granted access to the field of reeds, a perfect, idyllic version of Egypt, a paradise of eternal life. But what if the heart was heavy? What if it was weighed down by a life of crime, deceit, and evil? If the scales tipped, there was no fire, no ice, no torture. There was only Amit. Waiting beside the scale sat a terrifying creature, the devourer of the dead. Amit was a chimera of the three largest man-eating animals the Egyptians knew: the head of a crocodile, the forequarters of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. As the heavy heart was condemned, Amit would lunge forward and devour it. This was the Egyptian version of hell, the second death. It was not a punishment within the afterlife. It was the end of the afterlife. The soul was not tortured. It was annihilated. Its existence was erased. You were not sent to a bad place. You were sent to no place. You simply ceased to be. For a civilization so obsessed with memory, with legacy, with carving their names into stone to last for millions of years, this was the single most terrifying thought imaginable. Not pain, but oblivion, the hell of being utterly and completely forgotten. We have returned from the abyss. We have stood with Sisyphus at the bottom of his hill. We have shivered in the venom-filled halls of Nostrand. We have been resurrected for endless pain in Avicii, and we have faced the final, terrifying erasure of Amit. These hells, these ancient underworlds, are far more than just spooky stories. They are a profound, collective X-ray of the human psyche. They are a mirror. The Greeks, who valued legacy, feared a hell of meaninglessness. The Norse, who battled the elements, feared a hell of eternal cold. The Buddhists, who see the world as a chain of cause and effect, envisioned a hell of perfect, karmic consequence. And the Egyptians, who built monuments to memory, feared a hell of total oblivion. These civilizations, in their darkest creations, did not just define what it meant to be evil. They defined what it meant to be good. They gave us the terrifying, necessary, other side of the coin to their highest ideals. We are no different. Perhaps the most terrifying thought is not that hell is a place we go to after we die, but a state we can create right here on earth. The private torment of addiction, the isolating cold of depression, the consuming fire of hatred, the meaningless, modern labor of a life lived without passion, the existential fear of an insignificant life, of being forgotten. The ancient visions, the prophetic warnings, they all serve to remind us of the profound consequences of our choices. They show us the abyss we are capable of creating. And so, after this journey, the question is not whether these hells are real. The question is, what is the hell we are creating? And what does it say about us?